Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the round of 4. It's our third game broadcast today in the Smite Pro League Qualifiers North American Edition. My name is hi-rez Bart. That's Scott Gandhi. Meh. And our games today in the round of 4. It's the newly formed, well, not newly formed, but newly branded Denial Esports, formerly known as the 5 Angry Men, going up against, once again, Cognitive Gaming, formerly known as What's Crackin'. A couple new sponsors entering the fray this week, and we're going to see the teams go head-to-head here. This one should be a pretty solid game, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Fairly evenly matched between these two teams, it seems like. Obviously, the edge goes to the 5 Angry Men, now known as Denial, for me, at least. Just more tenured. Versus Jigs, Mask, Meerkat, and the boys. Can they do it again? They've looked damn good against Legion. Also, some tenured players there. Can they do it against Denial Esports?
Well, that's the million-dollar question here, Bart. The one thing I think for certain is that Denial Esports last week definitely looked like they were the better team. But going into this week, after that previous game, Cognitive looks like they're on par with them now. So as we get into the picks and bans phase, no shocker here. Cirquette's gone. She's highly mobile. She's very lethal from as soon as she gets level 9 through the rest of the game. So get her out of there, as well as Thor.
So a couple of powerful tempo-controlling assassins removed from the board. Aphrodite also banned out now by Denial Esports, not wanting to deal with that solo lane presence. And Isis removed by Cognitive. They don't want to deal with Mace to the Faces, one of his kind of premier signature gods. First pick goes the way of Denial. Will it be the Shibalanke, or will it be this guy right here? Remember back when Smite Chat was convinced that Sylvanas was unplayably bad?
Yeah, I talked about that in Game 1.
Remember the DM Brandon tier list? Well, Sylvanas was just unplayably bad.
He is so bad. And then he's just like, I can't believe they nerfed him into the ground.
He's so bad that you just have to first pick him because you don't want the other team having to play with something that bad.
Because Lotus Crown. It's funny, you know, the changes were made and then people don't evaluate all the options. But anyways, Sylvanas gets picked 1, Athena getting picked 2. Athena has been very, very strong in Season 2. Her global presence is huge, but she doesn't really seem to have any kind of counter, and Sylvanas is kind of shaping up to be the next best thing. So
overall here, Sylvanas, Lotus Crown really. So basically,
it's
that
huge.
item gives you defensive protections. Great job, Bart. Gives you protections while you get healed. If you get healed, and
for 5 seconds,
it's a hot, so it refreshes. It's really a great synergy there. But more traditional power picks coming out of Cognitive. It's Athena and Agni. A lot of control, a lot of AOE burst damage potential there. Poseidon and Arachne now selected by Denial Esports. So Xing likely the Arachne player here, unless this one's going solo lane. It is Cyclone Spin after all.
Yep. No, it's not. It's not Cyclone Spin.
I know. Just throwing it out there, Scott. Seeing what you had, buddy.
Keeping me on my toes.
Keeping you on your toes. I like it. Keeping you on your toes.
So Xing,
it's Best. Best is their soul.
I don't know if Xing has an Arachne in his kit. And I'm trying to think back to the North American regionals when people were running around with the Arachne in the solo lane. I'm pretty sure he did not play that.
I don't think that. No, he did. Xing did it a couple times, but now. It's kind of a question of, is it in Best's God pool as a solo lane?
Yeah, that's the big question, yeah.
Best is a mage player. So this seems very likely to be the jungle to me.
Yeah, well, mage still on the table here. As we take a look at the second bands, Artemis is gone, as well as Bastet. This is the first time today where Bastet hasn't been picked up in the first phase, which is mildly shocking here. So Nemesis is going to get picked up for COG Gaming. Option over to Denial. Uller, very
Uller there.
Very, very strong Uller is throughout the entire duration of the game. He has a good laning phase. He has a great mid-game and late game. He's even better. And, hey, there you go with the best. It looks like most likely that's going to be a Ra going into the solo lane. Ra, I love Ra. I think he's one of the best mages in the game front to back.
So speaking of Cyclone Spin, was that NA Regionals? Xing played solo lane Arachne, I think, and got destroyed by Sun Wukong.
Yes. He was going against COG.
And that was when we were like, everyone was like, oh my God, Cyclone Spin is here. Because he just absolutely annihilated Xing. So yes, Xing does play Arachne, and Cyclone Spin is not in this game. But rounding out our draft here, Ra likely to be the solo laner for the best there. Uller being locked in as the hunter for Denial Esports and Cognitive. They round out their draft with the Vamana. So Vamana is going to be your solo laner going into that Ra there. A traditional matchup if ever there was one here. But the baby kind of always undulates and swings around in terms of how much he is valued. Obviously, it seems to be much of a kind of a player to God matchup as much as anything. Like if you really like it, the the Omegas and the Zalias of the world still favor this guy pretty heavily.
Yeah. Now, so what's going to be tough for Ra is Ra's probably going to get forced into an early Divine Ruin, if I had to take a guess, just to kind of deal with the
he's got to get
healing.
physical protection first, right?
Yeah.
So it's going to be
it's a physical protection, then into Divine
second
Ruin.
or third item. It's a tough build-up against the Vamana.
It's a very, very tough build-up. Unless, the one thing we should note is that when you look back to how Xing kind of played in the jungle way back in the day, and the only reason I looked it up was because I was curious, he loves camping solo lane. So it might just be, he might just be running around with Best, which he's been doing in duo queue recently, and just camp that lane and throughout the entirety of the match and just try to get Best fed.
All 5 members of Denial in the blue trunks moving up the right side of the map here. It's deep warding with ShadowQ at the helm, but it looks like Vamana spotted out the backside here where Ra is going to make his way over, but I don't think there's going to be any aggression here as it's an early spotting for Cognitive Gaming there. Let's go ahead and introduce your teams. The blue team fighting on the bottom side of the minimap and the left side of the spectator UI here. Out of the round of 4, it is Denial Esports. The best is Ra in the solo lane. Xing in the jungle as Arachne. Mace to Deface in the mid lane as Poseidon. ShadowQ, his brother, in the duo lane as Sylvanas. And that leaves Madman Mark as the Hunter in that duo lane as well. Their opponents today wearing the red trunks. We saw them in the last game. They are still known as Cognitive Gaming. It's Meerkat as a solo laner as Vamana. Mask in the jungle this time as the Nemesis. Heroin in the mid lane as Agni reprising his role. It's Jigs and Famous Hate in the duo lane as Athena and Shibalanke.
So looking at this, Mace to the face, only having a Vamp Shroud leaving the base, and he's got 2-in-1 pots, so that shows me that they wanted an early invade, and he doesn't have that little bit of damage here. So Whirlpool's going to come out there. They are going to be able to take these back Harpies, giving them a little bit of a lead, and they're going to go for the full-blown steal here. This is the first kind of invade we've seen at a top level, and it was pretty routine, right? They just kind of walked straight through.
They get it. Did they secure that? Yes, Madman Mark able to get that red buff for himself. That purple buff still standing on the left side, but not going to be aggressive just yet. The Hogs obviously still down. Athena and Shibalanke likely to pick that up at their leisure. But they do get the early kind of clear advantage for Madman Mark here. And obviously Sylvanas able to add to that quite a bit with his AoE in hands.
Yeah, Sylvanas is he is one of the most infuriating gods to play against in the laning phase. Yeah, you can't do anything, you try to poke, and then all of a sudden he's back to full health, and so is his ADC. It's just a nightmare.
Well, no kills obviously here through the first minute. It's a little bit of that advantage to Denial based on that invade and the mid-camp pickups. I'm sorry, the back camp pickups there for them, being pretty efficient with their farm. Right side, there's the invade as well as Xing and Ra push forward. I don't think they found that buff, but it does put Xing in a position to pick up these backhands as well
huge.
And continue to expand on Denial's lead.
So when you see Denial going for this is the kind of the same thing we saw in the previous game when you take these back Harpies, you basically win the mid Harpies as well. And as you look across the way, Agni and Heroin had to go all the way back to the purple buff to secure it. So they're down a little bit of experience here, and this is going to be a hard mid Harpy fight. But it looks like Mass should be on pace to hit level 5 by the time the mid Harpies come up at 3 minutes.
Denial Esports, the team that basically dominated the North American Challengers Cup last year. It seemed pretty unbeatable in that Pro Amateur League. Did not make it into the bid for Worlds, but here are once again back at Season 2 now with a sponsor and looking to be one of the strongest teams trying to qualify from North America. Can they do it versus this very, very potent Cognitive Gaming squad? And, well, we're going to have our first test here as Mask moves into the left side lane, gets rooted out really quickly by the Sylvanas, though, and his passive procs on the Athena as well. A little bit of RNG love for ShadowQ there prevents a kill.
And that's exactly what we're saying. That's a 3-man gank with a lot of stuff blown on him. Wasn't big ultimates or anything, obviously, but look at his health. It's like an 8th missing.
Yeah.
No problem at all for him. Right side, though, Xing's coming in. He's camping with the best. This is what we've seen time and time again in the duo lane. Xing just loves this solo lane.
Yeah, they've spent a lot of time over here. And rotating through the enemy jungle as well as back camps come back up again. But mid camps coming up in 10 seconds as well, likely to be where the fight happens. And another thing I want to point out here, Scott, ShadowQ the one picking up the purple buff here, so getting that bonus in-hand power and attack speed. Wow, way off the mark there face to face. Didn't cancel the dash out of Jigs with the Whirlpool like he was hoping to do.
Well, it looks like Denial should be able to secure both of these Harpies, which is very, very important for them as well. So that's going to give them a little bit of an early game lead, which we kind of expected with an invade as well. Smite's one of those games where if the beginning you get a curveball and you're not used to it, it kind of jumbles you for at least the first 5 minutes.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I mean, any time that the early game in Smite is so often
routine
done to meta, right? Exactly.
Yeah,
it's very
yeah.
routine that any deviation can start to mess you up. I mean, even things as simple as losing your back camps, as we saw there, Shing stealing them away, not getting level 5 for the mid harpies. These types of things definitely throw your game off.
Yeah. So, taking a look at the solo lane here, no shocker as Meerkat's going to be very low mana. He started off with Death's Toll, which is something that Vamana is kind of known for starting off with Bluestone Pendant recently. It's just an item that's very, very good for him. But he thought he was going to be able to get a kill, but he wasn't expecting the fact that Shing has been camping solo lane.
Yeah, you know, the Bluestone Pendant on Vamana, obviously you have the Lulith on your side of the map, and he can be ability clear dependent, has very good abilities for clearing. I think there's a lot of viable starts here for Vamana, honestly.
Yeah.
He's got a pretty forgiving early game. So against the Ra, he could have gone Stone of Gaia, although Ra not that big of a damage threat. He has a lot of options, honestly.
Yep. Now, Ra going in with the CDR boots, no shocker here. Next item, we could see a Breastplate of Valor. That seems to be pretty much the standard in the solo lane if you're a mage going up against a physical warrior. Breastplate of Valor is going to help with your CDR as well as give you some protection.
Max CDR, a bunch of mana, and some physical protection.
Yeah, it's everything a mage wants to sustain. And then Vamana, on the other hand, I'm not sure what he's going to do for the Ra. The steal! No. I love Raw Snipes. It's my favorite. He lined it up looking for it, and it wasn't even on the screen. I was just so excited for it. The plays. It's my favorite god.
Yeah, Ra?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Ra's Bay.
That's your Bay? That's main Bay?
Yeah, that's main Bay.
Main
for
Bay
sure.
is Ra.
You can just do it's just safe. Like, you'll never lose a lane with Ra, it feels like. Like a mage versus a mage, it's at the beginning of the game you're even, but since you have a heal, it puts you like a little bit ahead.
Yeah, he's one of the more dominant laners that exist in Smite. Him, Isis, Anubis, all very, very strong. Isis ended up taking the cake, though, with their level 1 clear.
Yep. So the mid lane is going to get shoved here by Shing and Mace to the face, getting ready for these Harpies as well. That's going to get shoved up here. You saw the ping as well. Sylvanas might be able to see it. Mace to the face is going to catch a little bit of damage from Whirlwind as he's just going to go ahead and rotate back. The grouping for the purple buff, they have the timer on it, but it doesn't look like Denial's going to go for it.
So Vamana, yeah, what will he itemize into? Will it be the early Winged Blade? Makes sense, a lot of slows on the side of Denial.
Especially Ra.
Or will it be the Stone of Gaia to deal with the Sylvanas and Ra and Poseidon damage in the team fights? Definitely a lot of good options available from your cat here. He can, as long as he isn't planning on joining fights early, it doesn't really matter what order he goes these items. Both of them, Stone of Gaia and the Winged Blade, quite good against the Ra in the lane. We may get a hint here. No, it looks like he will be either going for maybe a Pestilence here or the Stone of Gaia.
That is a fantastic play by Shing. Shing just forced out 2 members of COG Gaming from getting the right Harpies just by throwing down his web, and you can see what he's done to Whirlwind, who's sitting at under half health, so that is a fantastic play by Denial.
Yeah, Whirlwind hasn't factored much into this game just yet, just kind of working on the mid-camp denies as they came up the second time there. Agni, obviously a god that can do a lot early on, but he hasn't gone back yet, has Whirlwind, which is nice for him. Level 8, still hasn't gone back. Poseidon's ahead a bit at level 9. Well, no, I'm sorry. He has gone back once to pick up that Aegis, and now the bead's finishing off his boots. But he does have that experience gap now to close with the Poseidon. Does this Agni. And, well, all things told, Agni has a little bit better of a path back into the game than the Poseidon. He continues to be a little bit more relevant without having to hit those Krakens, a little bit more forgiving with the bomb. So it's an okay position for them to be in. Overall, Cognitive is behind just a bit to Denial Esports in gold, just about 800 as we approach 7.5 minutes.
I'm just curious as to how Cognitive Gaming plans on kind of dealing with the fact that they haven't done any of the mid-Harpies. This next team fight, whenever it does happen, you can see Jigs is going to go for the taunt. It's going to be on Mace. He's got the follow-up. Sylvanas has got there. Kraken's going to hit. Kraken's going to do a bunch. Jigs is going to go down to Shing, and he's going to go on the wall. He's going to continue to aggress, but it doesn't look like they're able to do it. But that's a great win for Denial.
Yeah, first blood goes their way with the Kraken. To the credit of Arachne, however, Shing gets credit for that one, and now they take a look at the Gold Fury as well. With Jigs down, they know there's no Hog available. Is there the Hog 3 up and running for our good friend Sylvanas? Indeed there is. It's Shadow Q. They wouldn't have made this play without that. Gold Fury now at 49%. Just dropping now. Gold Fury starts to reset. She's healing back up quickly. She's up to 62% now as Meerkat finds a kill on a Shadow Q. No Hog available for Denial. And it's stalled out as Meerkat finds a double coming out of the solo lane. Well played. Don't want to pursue this one and give it back. Before that fight broke out, one thing to mention was that Shing is like just way, way, way ahead of Mass. For how good Mass looked last game, this game he's struggling a lot. 2 levels and 800 gold behind the Arachne. Only 8.5 minutes in, and before the Gold Fury falls.
Yeah. Shing also was, he kind of got a little bit ballsy there with the Arachne lifesteal. He was like, oh yeah, you know, I got lifesteal on my 1. I can take on 3 people. I'm a little bit ahead. And he ended up dying from it. But the best, most importantly, he actually picked up a kill on the side of that team fight, which is going to really help him here as he's going to get level 2 of Warlock Sash, his starting item, and Sprint 2. And that's really just to deal with the Vamana. He's going to be able to get away from it, which is very, very important.
Yeah, that's the... There's the answer to kind of how this was going to go. It's not going to be breastplate. It'll be the sprint to deal with it. Warlock Sash, try to stall the lane out and have a little bit more of a damage presence into the mid game. Arachne's going for the early Jotun's Wrath here. It's going to be a Spear of the Magus Rush, most likely from Poseidon. Sylvanas has the reinforced Greaves, it looks like here.
Yeah.
Himself on top of the Mark of the Vanguard, so a tanky Poseidon. I'm sorry, tanky Sylvanas. And Ullr, well, Ullr's just building his standard items here.
Yeah.
And Baby has gone the Stone of Gaia.
Yep, Stone of Gaia is going to come online as well. Mid-Harpies are there. As you can see, Denial is in a great spot. Which one is Cog going to go for? Are they just going to give them both up? They're actually not going to look for the fight. Actually, Herwin's going to rotate around. Mace is going to go ahead and zone him out.
Yeah.
Knowledge is power. That's why you ward right there.
There it is.
It's like the most standard ward, too.
Yeah, a little outwarded is Cognitive Gaming, and it yields both of the mid-camps for Denial, where they continue to expand upon a growing lead, approaching 1,000 gold now to their credit. And, well, the experience is maybe the more important part of it. 3,000 experience right now for Cog.
Yeah. Cog, I mean, to be fair, that's very, very telling. Cog didn't get their initial buff. They haven't gotten a single mid-harpy, and they haven't looked to invade. They almost kind of look like a little bit of an old-school version of Complexity, where Complexity is known for just sitting back and waiting for you to make a mistake so then they can punish you for it. But if you're not making any mistakes, they just stay kind of complacent, and then late game happens and they lose.
Shin continuing to farm up very well in the jungle. Will get his orange buff yet again. Going to go back and finish off that Jotun's Wrath, and they can start forcing fights yet again as Arachne's gotten a pretty powerful item here. Right side, Best. He's going to eat some in-hands from Meerkat, but Meerkat, he's okay with that. He's going to smack around a couple times there. And he's looking pretty healthy himself, continuing to farm up. This lane fairly even. Meerkat, as we saw the double kill, really helping catapult his farm, now 500 gold ahead of the Best.
Now, I'm assuming what the Best is going to do here is finish Warlock Sash and then go into Lotus Crown. Having a Lotus Crown on both Ra and Sylvanas, granted they don't stack, but it procs at different times and you can use it aggressively, which is going to really help out this team for when it comes time to siege.
Oh, left side lane in a lot of trouble is Jigs, and down he goes yet again, his second fall of the game. He gets piled onto by Denial. Even that Xbalanque ultimate, not enough to bail him out. It is worth noting here that Denial Esports is newly formed, formerly known as the 5 Angry Men. Cognitive Gaming last week was known as What's Crackin', so both of these teams fighting sponsors in between week 1 and 2 of the qualifiers here. And while looking at the overall compositions, Denial Esports pretty dominant here through the early game. Their god's a little bit more focused to that early game period, and they built themselves a 1,300 gold lead. Cognitive Gaming, the other side, they have tremendous late game with the shred from Mass, Meerkat's damage, Herwin's damage, and obviously Xbalanque. Probably the strongest late game character, with the exception of Artemis currently in the game.
Madman Mark could be in some trouble. He's going to use his jump to get out there. He's got the slow from the poison darts of Xbalanque, but Madman Mark, you can't. This kid is something special.
See that gold chain?
Yeah, he's got a big season ahead of him, and I think the fact that a lot of people are underestimating Denial, or were underestimating up until this point, he's got a lot to prove, and I think Madman Mark's at this point where he's going to continue to prove people wrong.
Yeah, he's played very well this game.
He's looked great.
Yeah, last couple times we've seen him, it's been very successful outings for Mr. Mark and the rest of Denial Esports. So it doesn't look to be much different here today. It's Cognitive struggling a little bit more with this team, but as we mentioned, they do have the more powerful characters. Maybe in another 10 to 15, or probably 15 to 20 minutes, honestly. We'll see if Cognitive can hold out that long, or if Denial will build the snowball up and run through them as the mid camps come up for the 3rd time now.
And again, Cog isn't in a spot to really do anything forward. You can see Athena's like, guys, come on. We can go for this. Let's force something here. But they leave with nothing. And this is just a slow lead that's going to continue to just build up. The next point of contention is going to be this Gold Fury. How it looks, Cognitive isn't going to do anything unless they win a fight. They want to make sure they can do it. Denial, we might see a little bit of tomfoolery with the Spiders of Arachne kind of coming out and kind of taking some of the hits, or aggro, excuse me, from the Gold Fury, but I don't see it happening anytime soon.
Well, looking into the dual lane matchup here, Madman Mark's now pulled ahead by 2 levels over Famous Hate. So the Uller continuing to dominate this lane, and honestly, at this point, Famous Hate should have maybe taken control, has a lot more ability to trade effectively with the Uller. Right side lane, however, in the solo, Best is going to get dove in a tower. Will the sprint run out in time or not is kind of the question here. And Best tries to make a little bit of a cheeky play there and get some damage, and it ends up costing him his life. Maybe could have just run that one out back towards the tier 2, but Best playing a little greedy there, and he falls. Credit to Meerkat.
Yeah, Meerkat played it well. I mean, this is when Big Baby is really, really annoying to deal with. He's got a bunch of health, he's got a bunch of regen, but on top of that, he's got Sprint 3. So you go into Big Baby form, you press 2 or whatever your key bindings are set to, G, and then you just run down, smashing him as fast as you can.
Yeah, that's right. He this is kind of like his first real damage potential timing. That double kill earlier was just an absolute mitzvah for Meerkat. Not something that generally will happen for you, but here in the lane now, quite powerful with his sprint. And then again, once he gets 4 or 5 items in as a team fight dominator, but still really, really good at isolating a single target right now.
Yep. And that's what scares me with the Arachne pick as well. Arachne's really got to, she can jump on one person and really kind of zone them out and do all the things, but if Cog has the peel, which they do with Athena, I don't know how Arachne's going to phase going into the later stages of this game.
Yeah, that's kind of the question.
That's the question, yeah.
Can Denial get far enough ahead with this lineup? And, well, after that set of plays there, Cognitive, they're only down 200 gold now. They've drawn this one back.
Yep. Agni looking to go for the Warlock Sash as well. He's got the Aegis, level 1, and that's really just to deal with Krakens. No real shocker there. Option over to Poseidon here, who has Spear of the Magus, so he's looking to really just take down Agni as fast as possible. He's just like, you know what? I don't want him in the fight. I'm going to focus my Krakens, get him out of there.
Can they get another kill onto the Agni before he finishes the Warlock Sash with this timing on the Spear of the Magus? To me, is kind of the question here. Spear of the Magus, early game damage item. Yeah. And can they slow down the Warlock Sash even more here, or is it just too little, too late? And because I feel like once that Warlock Sash comes online, Agni starts to dominate this matchup pretty heavily, without just exceptional kind of outplay qualities from Mace to the face. Agni, however, does have that Aegis Amulet, so even if he does get outplayed in terms of positioning, he can still bail himself out and avoid a lot of that burst.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough for Mace. Mace really needs a good gank in the mid, but Agni's so safe that he really just needs to do all of the things, and the next time there's a grouping, and then just get Bancrofts online, so he has the damage and he has a little bit of the lifesteal from it to really keep him in that fight.
Jigs is hold about 300 gold ahead now of Sylvanas here. A level behind, but a little bit ahead in gold. That's to the credit of the Watcher's gift on Athena. Here we see it playing out. Even though he's died a little bit more, still having a bit more of income. However, in the mid lane, it's a big fight as the Agni Bomb's doing a lot. And Jigs picks up a kill to Mace in the face, and there, in fact, it goes the other way. As we mentioned, we were seeing if they could find another kill into Agni, but Agni actually gets credited with an assist on the kill to Mace in the face there. So nicely played by Cognitive Gaming to kind of blow up that timing and get that Warlock Sash up and running for Agni in, well, expedient fashion.
Yeah, Meerkat's just laughing at Shadowkey right now. He's like, okay, yeah, I'm glad you stunned me. You still can't do anything to me. So, important things to note, the Best doesn't have his ultimate online. He whiffed with that one, missing it by just a little bit. So if the Gold Fury is started up, he won't be the one who's going to be looking for the steal. And as well as Sylvanas doesn't have his ultimate either. So this is, COG Gaming could go for a Gold Fury if they really wanted to, but for whatever reason, it really works out for them just waiting for the misplays out of Denial.
Yeah.
It's really has been the story so far.
Especially, I mean, definitely in that last engagement, certainly. But Denial they still hold the lead, however slight. About 30 gold right now, so not a tremendous amount to their credit. They've kind of relinquished that lead, as we mentioned. Famous Hate hasn't caught Madman Mark yet, but he's getting fairly close with his 2 assists. Does have the Executioner out before Mark, as Mark has elected for Sprint 3 here. So some kill potential, actually, for the Uller, honestly, in that left side lane.
Yep. Now, this is something that I am a big fan of here. This shows the teamwork of Denial. Denial says, okay, Best, you have the kills. You can go for a double stacking or even go with the Soul Reaver if you want. Since I'm Poseidon and I'm a little bit behind, I'm going to go with the cheaper approach, and I'm going to get Divine Ruin online. That is really, really good synergy of the team.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, Best to go for a Book of Thoth, it looks like here. It's going to be that damaging Ra. And, yeah, you called it right on. It's the Divine Rune for Poseidon. Makes sense, right? He's already trying to get those stacks up on you with the Spear of the Magus. Might as well stack up some anti-heal while he's at it.
Yep. And, I mean, Trident, it's got pretty decent synergy with that as well. So, all in all, good plays coming out of them. As we look across here, Agni has a way to go with the stacking here on Warlocks. He's gonna need Xing to just get out of this lane so he can just get some free farm. He's only got 7 stacks. Warlocks, you got to get to 100, and they're completely meaningful. Whereas Book of Thoth, when you just finish it, you get that instant reward of like 100 power, and the 75 stacks, meh, you can get them eventually.
Well, we seem to have a consolidated jungle build here. It's the damage boots into Jotun's Wrath into Winged Blade, picked up for both the Arachne and the Nemesis. Nemesis for Jigs, I'm sorry, for Mask. He promises he's in this game, even though he's 2 levels behind and quite a bit of gold now, 900 gold that his Nemesis is down. However, 3 assists to his credit, so has been involved in most of the kills the team has had.
Yeah, he also went Wingblade instead of just kind of waiting for the chin size, which is pretty standard of Nemesis. And it's really just because, well, I haven't gotten the kill yet. It's going to be even longer. They have a bunch of slows. Let's just get Wingblade online. It'll help give me a little bit of health as well as some attack speed. I like both of those things.
Chin size, speaking of the devil, picked up on a level 19 Vamana.
Oh, God. I didn't even see that.
Good God Almighty. You don't want to fight that. And there's a weakening curse up for the Athena, so shutting down some of that Sylvanas healing and Ra healing in the team fights as well. Cognitive Gaming with a very, very strong moment right here. But it's a big pull coming in from Shadowq. They're going to dump everything in the mask, but he has his Age Shamlet up, and he's going to make it out of this fight with the Athena ultimate. They don't succeed in killing the lowest level core with the least amount of HP in the game. With all of their ultimates there out of the Poseidon, a lot of their burst. Denial may have used too much for that kill opportunity.
Yep, the best has rotated as well. He's lost his level, his tier 1. Meerkat does have sprint online as well. We could see the big baby for him take Meerkat, just really zoning him out there. There's no sense of certainty coming out of Denial. They don't know what they want to do.
They don't, and their early game period is starting to slip here, 20 minutes in. Granted, they are going Book of Thoth for the best to try to transition them a little bit better into the late game. But overall, Cognitive, as we've been mentioning the whole time, stronger in the late game. Vamana, Agni, Shivalange, big-time late game characters. Athena as well, and Nemesis, protections. Can they take the fight? Gold Fury does go down in favor of Denial, and that helps them out a lot. You know, can they snowball this? Can they get a couple towers now on the back of this advantage and extra gold income?
Mace could be in a lot of trouble. He's able to get out of there. Meerkat did waste big baby for him, so Colossal Fury is going to be down. Celestial Beam's going to do a bunch, but not a whole lot. As now Xing is just going to take to the skies, and he's just going to kind of rotate out of this one. It looks like it's going to be a disengage.
Honestly, pretty surprised overall the Denial's able to take that gold Fury, given that they blew the Kraken.
Yeah.
Like that should have been the key for Cognitive to go deep into the backlines without anything really to blow them up outside of a Raw snipe. But unable to execute. Denial zoning them out well enough, and they get it to their credit.
Yeah, and this is what's going to be scary for them, is dealing with the Raw with double stacking. But with that said, that just keeps Ra out of the game just a little bit longer.
Right, if the pressure stays up, how is he going to find the stacks?
Yeah. I mean, he's only 4 stacks away from the Warlocks, which is nothing. But the Book of Thoth, he is going to need a little bit more time here, and he's actually prioritized very, very well. He has Heavenly Agility, which is one of the best actives in the game, in my opinion. You're basically giving increased movement speed to everyone on your team in a certain area, so you can't go wrong with that, and he's just going to be able to get all of this. So losing that Tier 1 tower, not necessarily a bad thing now in hindsight.
Yeah, and looking at it, the Warlock stash for Agni on the other side of the map is at about 60 stacks from complete. And that's about how many stacks Ra is from finishing off his Book of Thoth as well at this point. So those timings should be roughly the same, but Ra will be really, really... I mean, he's hitting hard right now.
Well, shockingly enough here as well, this Madman Mark choosing no Ichavolt. He's saying, you know what, screw it. I don't think it's worth it, which it totally is for 4,200 gold with Executioner. You can't pass that up. He's going to go right into crit after Executioner. This is the old school build.
Yeah, this is the original build.
The
build of
OG.
The OG, yeah. Dev's gloves into, well, no pen boots, honestly. But it's attack speed and damage boots, and then your Executioner, your Rage Blade, your Deathbringer, and then finally your Titan's Bane of selling up your starter. Appears to be the do for Madman Mark.
Yeah, I wonder how it's going to work out for him. When you look across the way, there's no Ichavolt either for Xbalanque, and he's a tier above, I guess you would say, of Cooler. So
short sword done here, about 700 golds ahead in the itemization.
And now Bess is actually just picking off. This is really, really good by Bess. Bess has been rotating so well from solo to mid and juggling this lane. As you can see in the right side of your of the minimap, that wave shoved all the way up. Whenever Best decides to peace out, he's going to get free farm.
Right, yeah,
Just safe, free farm.
Yeah, Ra, he'll be able to continue stacking up there, although he has already achieved, 24 stacks on that Book of Thoth. So.
Yeah.
And on top of the Warlocks, that's just a passive of the Book of Thoth, giving him not a bad amount.
Yeah. And so now he's just going to go ahead and get over there as well. So this is great job by the Best. He loses his tower. He's prioritizing the double stacking, but even better, it's a testament to show that Poseidon is just being a team player. Because Poseidon needs these stacks too, but he's behind, but he's like, oh, you know what, Best, you're crushing, just have it.
Yeah, no, he's gone for his Divine Ruin and Spear of the Magus build. He doesn't need the last hits. Well, he wants the last hits for the gold value, but he's willing to give him up the best. Yeah, you're right. I mean, I think you hit it right on the head that they made the call early on that they're going to run Poseidon more in that support mage style, even though Ra's kit seems to lend itself a little bit better to that style. They both can stack up the procs, I guess, if you will, of Spear of the Magus or Divine Ruin about as fast, but overall, it's Poseidon who's building those items.
I wonder what Ra is going to do after Book of Thoth. I wonder if he's going to go into the Lotus Crown or not, right? I mean, based on this, it looks like he's going to go right into Breastplate of Valor, which is going to give him physical protection as well as CDR and mana, so he can just really start to spam everything. And that'll actually give him full CDR because he does have the boots as well. So,
yeah.
Okay.
You're right, yeah.
There's no Lotus Crown, though, coming out. I almost expect that next on Sylvanas if this game continues, but very, very low action-packed game here. 3 to 4, 25 minutes into the game.
7 kills in 25 minutes, not much.
Yeah, that's very unusual for us, as Meerkat's actually getting boxed pretty hard by Shing.
Yeah, I don't think there's kill potential here, but they're going to get each other pretty low. No Thors in this game either to surprise anybody. But Denial has casually built a 6,000 experience lead here. Gold still pretty tame, 1,500 gold in favor of Denial. That experience, though, continuing to grow. They're doing a nice job of just getting a bit more out of the map. Those kills, the 3 kills that they got, lending themselves to that as well. But Breastplate nearly done for the Ra's you mentioned, and that could be the cue to fight, although they will be fighting into now a Runeforged hammer-wielding Vamana on top of those shins. He is big and he's beefy, and he has a sprint 3.
Yeah, it's one of the best items in the game. You're getting 55 protections and 350 health, and health at this point is such a valuable stat to pick up on any single item. Shocking that we didn't actually see Shing go in and check the speed buff of COG Gaming, but he might just not have the timer on it.
So the same build-up between the two junglers continues, although Shing now 3 levels ahead and about 1,500 gold ahead as well. He has his shin size done, still being worked on by Mask's Nemesis. So the time to fight seems to be nigh for Denial. They're quite a bit ahead in their itemization and in their levels. So take the fight to them.
The one thing I do like is the Weakening Curse coming out from Athena. I think that's going to really help them on. She doesn't need Blink. She has a dash. She doesn't need... A Shell would have been cool. A Shell could have been picked up by Vamana as well, but he needs Sprint 3. And so since he went with the Hand of the Gods early on just for the wave clear to deal with the Ra, he can't really fit it in there, so Sprint 3 makes sense. I really like the active selection coming out of COG.
The Hunters are enraged with their Rage Blades active, both with Sprint 3 and Beam 1, so
awful.
They are ready to go.
That was just
Scott Gunn.
They are enraged with rage because Rage Blade has been raged. Gold Fury has been started up. Shing going for it right now. Shadow Q looking to be there as well. Looks like they're just going to go ahead and reset this as the Spider is just going to be taken out.
Well, Gold Fury, no shenanigans just yet. Denial not going to try to take this one into the full force of cognitive gaming. Last time they met some Agni Bombs, and it was not very good for them.
Yeah, well, the call has been made. You can see Vamana is going back to the house, as now Bess is going to be joining the fight in the mid lane, and Sylvanas is going to hit the knockup. The battle is going to continue, Bart.
Kraken coming out, knocking it Athena, and Jigs is going to get that fully channeled and on to Mask. And once again, Kraken not finding too much. Even this time, they don't even force anyone out of the fight, really. Hurwin can still stand in the back lines to shoot bombs. He's going to fire one off. Not going to hit Best, though, who beads away the CC and Denial. Did they force enough cooldowns out of Cognitive Gaming? Yes, all 5 ultimates down. Shing ult and Best's ult still available for this Gold Fury fight. Coming in as Cognitive. Can they stop this Denial push through? No, they cannot. Denial Esports with the Gold Fury, and Shing taking to the Infinite Web. Finds his first kill into Jigs. Looking for the second onto Hurwin. Don't think he got the dot off, unfortunately, and Hurwin will be okay for the moment. Famous Hate quite low. Mask as well. Surging forward is Denial. Looking for both. Getting a bit greedy here. Maybe they could have had one, but the burst from Madman Mark, a nice axe to keep Famous Hate in place, and that's a big kill into Shibalanke, a high priority target to kill that Hunter in Denial. swings this game for the first time really heavily in their favor in terms of gold. XP now 7,500, gold 3,000. And, well, we went from 7 total kills to 9 total kills at 28 minutes, I'm sorry.
Yep, and we actually are going to have the second tower of the game be taken here as they will begin to siege here on the tier 1 in the mid lane, giving them not a whole bunch of gold, but still giving them a lot of map pressure throughout the duration of this game. So looking at it here, Poseidon, he's got Lost Artifact, could be going into a Chronos, could be Ratatouille, most likely not that though.
Vamana coming through with Athena ultimate as well. His sprint is not there. Yeah. Oh, no, it's the Heavenly Agility. And look how fast Denial bails. But it's a huge shot onto the Athena. Kraken comes through, but it's going to stop them in their tracks. Madman Mark blows up Mask before he can do any damage. And Meerkat is not going to get anything out of that ultimate and sprint combination. It's a tremendous counter initiation from Denial. They catch Cognitive overreaching, and they blow up Mask, keeping him in the gutter yet again. Poor guy, still level 18 and falling further and further behind Xing in terms of farm.
And Athena is strong, but you can see why Heavenly Agility is one of the best actives in the game. I mean, it is basically like, all right, guys, we got to get out of here, run. The cops are here, go.
Good for initiation, good for bailing as well. So. Yep. Excellent stuff for Denial Esports. Great kind of team coordination, all turning at the same time, and they find their target. And they prevent Meerkat, maybe more importantly, from running away with this game and getting 3 or 4 kills on the back of that one. So nice disengagement from Vamana, who's very, very speedy.
Yep, Imperial Helmet's coming out here for Sylvanas. That's going to be going into a Lotus Crown. He still only has level 1 Blink, not really prioritizing that. On the other side, though, Athena going into the Stone of Gaia instead of doing any extra aura like, a Heartward Amulet.
Yeah, Heartward Sovereignty finish and Lotus Crown on its way for the Sylvanas there.
For sure.
An exciting time if you're Denial Esports. You know that you have yet another kind of power spike coming when that Lotus Crown is done, but their window is closing.
That is true. They really need to put the pressure on.
Yeah. Cognitive is going to start, just their picks alone are going to start rearing their head here pretty soon.
Yep. It looks like it could be a Magi's coming out here for Vamana as well, as he's got the level 1 of the cloak. Arachne's going to get into a little bit of a ward battle here with the Nemesis as well as the Meerkat. She's really just stalling time, and here comes the Cavalry. Shadow Q is just going to kind of throw out a heal. And did he? Okay, they're just toying with it.
Great job, Xing.
Yeah, I was like, what? Why'd he do that?
Big play.
Shing's just like, yeah, I am the boss. I am the boss, Fire Giant. I'm going to take you.
Take 1 hit and get some healing reduction and damage reduction while I'm at it.
Yeah, just completely put myself at a disadvantage. Xing, he has Hero in there, but Agni's so safe. The dash, it's on a decent cooldown as well, but when that dash is up, there's almost no kill potential on him.
On Agni?
Yeah.
Hey, it used to make you CC immune as well, so there's at least something there. Wow. You don't know that? Yeah, it used to be fully immune to CC instantly at startup on that ability.
No way.
Yes, right. Yes way.
That's crazy. I mean, that's God, I think he's annoying now. That would be even worse. Tier 1 in the solo looks like it's going to be dropping here. 3-man stacking. They really want to prioritize a fight on this side because it would be a guaranteed Fire Giant, assuming they win it. Shadow Q looking for the pulls. They're just grouping it, but with Mace to the face going back, they're getting out of here. They're just going to get the vision battle.
It's time for the big plays from Cognitive Gaming.
Wow, he did go into Ratatouille.
Yeah, oh yeah. See, but it makes sense, right? Because they know that they're going to be damage anemic in the late game. They need to stack as much damage right now as they can and try to win this game. And more utility items aren't going to help them once the Shibalanke gets 6-slotted. I mean, and it's close, right? Shibalanke really dialing in there. Agni's going to be 6-slotted, as will the Vamana fairly soon. And that's when things get really, really ugly fighting into that. And it's just a lot of damage and a lot of crit potential.
Yep, so the Ratatouille, all eyes, ladies and gentlemen, on Poseidon. He has to bring the big Krakens in this next team fight. He has to, or else it's just a slippery slope for him from here on out. Yeah,
if Mace to the face, if his ultimate's off the mark here and Heroin's on top of his game, it'll get ugly quickly for Denial. Yep. But they do have the lead now and the momentum as they surge forward, looking for a pickoff, but not going to find anything just yet.
Xing doing a good job throwing down the webs as best he can, just really trying to deter COG Gaming from doing anything on this Fire Giant. They started it up there. Shadow Q is going to miss the fire carpet. They're going to do the dance. Shadow Q is going to be forced to kind of zone him out.
Yeah, they're not going to continue that one as Shadow Q runs back to the mid lane to continue farming.
Yeah, no. The Sylvanas needs farm.
Well, Lotus Crown is a good item. I don't know if it's
it is
if it's as good as let me bail on this team fight, but it's pretty dang good.
Hey. Well, Meerkat just taking it here. Xing's going to go on him. Xing trying to force the fight here, waiting for his teammates to give him reinforcements. You got the raw heal as well.
Well, they're playing the dance there. He keeps on webbing up that entrance, and Meerkat keeps on popping the web, and then after about 3 or 4 times of that, Shing just decided to fight him.
Yep. Shing's like, all right, dude, I'm really tired of you breaking my web.
Yeah. Shing was like, it's time for me to hit delete, insert, and the home button and fight you.
Yeah. He's going to start stacking the webs very, very soon, just trying to be as annoying as possible. But Madman Mark is sitting all the way in the mid lane here, so it looks like they have completely given up. Shing needs to be careful because if they do engage on him, he could be dead to rights. And he gets all the way out of here. His speed buff's here. Arachne wants it. This could be trouble.
Yeah, this fight's going to break out while Shing is still farming here. Sylvanas, he's forced to use, well, basically his entire bailout. Heavenly Agility use. Shing does avoid the Shibalanki ultimate. In the meantime, Best is picked up. As mentioned, there's a lot of the damage. The Kraken's on the mark, but Famous Hate's taking out Shadow Q. And this could be where Cognitive Gaming starts turning this game. Trying to fall away now is Mask, but he's dotted up by the Arachne. Jigs maybe going to follow. Yes, Shing finds him in the fight and then takes to the web. Famous Hate, he's going to go down as a crit comes through, and Meerkat as well. Madman Mark and Shing combining for so much damage. Trying to return the damage is Mask, but Shing is here. Can he get the stun? He will, but Heroin finds a kill onto Shing with the dash on through. It's complete bloodbath, and it's a 3-for-3 trade. Mace to the face, Madman Mark. No! Mark, why?
He got guillotined. I watched him just get sliced in half. That's heartbreaking. Greedy. Yeah. Ugh.
So it ends up being a 4-for-3 trade in favor just barely of Cognitive and Mask. He's going to find himself a little bit of farm, and Agni's going to help him out as well while they're at it. So, well, Cognitive, they just continue to kind of keep themselves in it.
Slow and steady wins the race.
Well, that's all you need, right? Yeah. With this late game lineup, Denial Esports, maybe their last really, really good try there to kind of force a team fight with an advantage, and now they're fighting at parity at best as Cognitive continues to itemize up, and their gods are going to really start showing their all. Vamana, look for Meerkat to have big impact in the next team fight. Famous Hate, we already saw what he could do in that one. Madman Mark as well, but the Shibalanki will outscale this Uller.
Well, one of the most important things of that team fight is actually that Vamana got 3 stacks on his Height of the Urchin.
It's going to be triple crit coming out of Madman Mark. He's going to be going into Malice here.
Yeah. Triple crit. It's the crit build. Almost every auto attack you're hitting for like 800. You're just machine gunning through people. But Imperial Helm started off on Poseidon. Question mark. Lotus Crown's going to be done as well. Titan's Bane not out yet for the Shing. This is what Denial has to do. They have to force this fight because after this they don't have that power spike. But Fire Giant has been started up here. Divine Judgment down on Mace to the face. Mace to the face. Shibalanki ult's going to be there as well. Mask is going to be forced all the way out. Heroin's going to continue. Madman Mark's going to force him out, though. Shing now is just going to try to stop this as best as possible, as Shibalanki could be in the duel, and Madman Mark isn't going to get hit by that bomb.
Mask and Heroin both so low, it's going to be hard for them to pursue a fight here, but they've used the Meerkat ultimate. A little bit of miscommunication there. Maybe his best. Best with a snipe, just erased Mask yet again.
He is doing, he's been playing fantastic Raw throughout this entire game. 2, 2, and 3. He's got the heals down. He's got the Lotus Crown finish as well. They have dual Lotus Crowns. You can see the little shell go on them as well. Madman Mark getting hit by the carpet. They got to be careful. Athena's very, very strong in this scenario. That's a good crack.
That's a good crack. And if Jigs takes a fall here, which he will, that leaves Fire Giant open. Update coming through, guys. On the other side of the bracket, Complexity did knock out Nomad. So we're seeing who's going to go on to fight Complexity in the finals. Will it be Denial or Cognitive? Denial with a kill onto Jigs and Mask. Have an opportunity for the Fire Giant here, but trying to stall them out is Cognitive Gaming. Can they do it? Denial keeps the aggro going, but they're not doing much damage here. Shadow Q, how long can he tank this? I mean, a long time. But
yeah, he's got a decent bit. Denial has been able to take the Fire Giant. Shibalanki's in a world of trouble. He used his dash to go in there.
News.
This might be the final push here, unless they feel like getting slotted out, which they might do as well. But I'm expecting at least a tier 2 in the mid to be taken out. You have Shibalanki down. You have Jigs down for 15 seconds. You can at least take this mid tier 2.
Bad news bears. Taking a look here at the player damage overall. Arachne putting up 23,500. 25K out of Madman Mark, so the damage cores, physical damage cores for Denial leading the way. But the fight's breaking out here now. Mace to the face does get sliced and diced a little bit, but he's going to be okay. Meerkat trying to hold the front line, but he's dealing with Madman Mark, who's hitting extremely hard, as you mentioned, doing the most damage on his team now, 26K. On the other side is Shibalanki also leading the way, so you can see this game, not a lot of kills, not a lot of fights, and that means that the Hunters are really, really getting to shine here at the 35-minute mark. It really comes down to who's going to stay alive longer? Is it Madman Mark or is it going to be Famous Hate?
Yep. So now everyone from Denial is going to go back here. This is going to be a Titan's Bane finish, almost an Obsidian Shard done for Poseidon, a Deathbringer. He finally he was able to get it as well. Titan's Bane online, almost a Void Stone for Ra, and now a Tier 2 Uncommon Sash coming out, or the Golden Sash, excuse me, coming out for Sylvanas. Very, very big spike for them. This is starting to look a little bit scary for COG. They gotta delay for at least 4 minutes.
Yeah, they need their next item probably to fight here. As you can see, just looking at the kind of histogram view, as we'll call it, 6 slots full for Denial. Cognitive still have members with only 4 items here, and it's going to be a Gold Fury to the credit of Denial as well. Not much Cognitive can do on this one, forced to hold their base. And the Fire Giant buff still active and will be for another 2 minutes here. It's fresh, and Denial starting to rotate through the enemy jungle. The pressure is going to come down the left side here, where they have their eyes on that left side Phoenix.
Oh, they're not even flinching at this Tier 1. You can just tell COG is like, well, okay, we'll give them Tier 1, we'll give them Tier 2, we'll hit them with maybe a little bit of poke, but there's no point in wasting those resources. Let's just give it to them. We'll make our stand at the Phoenix. It's the right play. You don't want to fight in between the Phoenix and the Tier 2. So, but they have to have a big Athena taunt here. COG really needs to rely on Athena for this engagement.
ShadowQ looking for the pluck here. Not going to find the root. Is he? Oh my God, he may be building a Gem of Isolation here. Yeah. Probably an E-Staff, but
most likely an E-Staff.
What if it's a Gem of Isolation?
That's what
I wouldn't want to fight against that.
That's what we call the dream.
Yeah.
ShadowQ is going to be there. Athena's
going to
get
a
a 3.
Taunt.
That's a 3-man taunt, and Shablanque ultimate down as well. But there's no follow-up.
Yeah, we did it, but we can't fight. Damn.
Oh my God, there's so much heal. What do? Well, we sit underneath this Phoenix.
Yeah. Oh, Sylvanas with a big ultimate. He hits all 4, and here comes the damage. Best with a lot out of that beam, and Madman Mark ripping through the team. Can they stop him? Mask in the front line, trying to reflect the damage. He has to bail out as Vamana takes his place, but Vamana starting to go down. Kraken comes out to zone out the rest of the team. Shing in the front line, kind of on an island here. No one dead just yet. Just Jigs has fallen. Madman Mark, can he find any more damage? The Phoenix is going to be where they turn their attention, and this will go down quickly to the Uller with just every single bit of damage you could ever hope for. He's got a red pot active as well, it looks like here. Fire Giant buff, purple buff. He hits like a tank.
Yep, now eyes on the right Phoenix here. The web's going to go down. They're going to try to focus it. The best is going to drop down the heal, even though ShadowQ really doesn't need it. This Phoenix is scratching him. And now they're going to be able to take that. They're going to take all 3 Phoenixes. Now look to take everything in the jungle. You can see the ping. They want the timer on the speed buff. Unfortunately, they're not going to get it. What they will get is going back and having Sylvanas finish out as well as Ra.
Yeah, so a couple big team fights. A lot of structures going down. It yields 5-digit advantages in both categories for the boys of Denial, and they look like they've got this one by the neck. Can they seal the deal against Cognitive Gaming, or can Cognitive somehow stall until this lineup comes online?
It's going to be tough. I mean, really what we saw in that last team fight was Athena hits 1 taunt. They used the Shablanque ultimate, but there was no follow-up. Then Athena hits the taunt, but it was a miscommunication because Sylvanas dove so far deep that her teams could not follow up. They have to be synergized very, very well here. And it shouldn't be hard for them since they can only fight at the Titan.
Sylvanas now with an Ethereal Staff, basically impossibly tanky. No way they're going to get him out of a fight. They'll need all 5 to kill him at this point. I mean, the only thing he could have gotten to make him even more tanky would have been a Bulwark, but then a flat HP coming out of this E-Staff.
Well, he can still sell his Mark of the Vanguard.
He can, yeah.
Which could be the... Dude, he's got 3660 health. Ugh.
Malice done for this fight, though, for Madman Mark. 8-1-2 for the Uller, and, well, he's hitting as hard as you're ever going to see anything hit in Smite.
Just watch his auto attacks and the numbers that just jump off that person's body. Or you can just watch their health bar disappear in front of your eyes. It's basically a magic show.
Coming up next, guys, it's going to be the 3rd, 4th place match, I suppose, between the loser of this game and the loser on the other side of the bracket.
Yep, Team Nomad.
Nomad. So the loser of this going to face Nomad. The winner of this going on to face Complexity again, and if Denial's able to do it, it will be the 2nd week in a row that this is the matchup we see in the North American Finals for the SPL qualifiers. Fire Giants started up for Denial. Can they do it? The zone is real. Yeah, this is free.
Not free. They had no problem at all. You just saw a Shing, a.k.a. an Arachne, and a Rock completely zone out the entire COG team. 13-8 as we take out one final look. 14,000 experience separates these two teams. Almost 14,000 gold as well. This might be the final push. They just got to take out this mid Phoenix, and they're going to look for the fight. Eyes on ShadowQ, guys.
Jigs looking for the taunt. Doesn't find it there with his first dash. Second wave coming in. There's the blink 4 from Shadowcue. Gets two. Raw Snipe on top of it. The taunt is big to hold off that initial wave. Shibboleth Ultimate on the mark as well. They take out Madman Mark. That's a big deal. Vamana in the front line, but can they burn him down? He's continuing to run people down. Xing bails out of there. They only lose the one, but it is maybe the most important. It's now basically all on to Xing to do the damage to structures to take this one down. Can they get their melee core to the Phoenix?
Well, Shadowcue and Xing, it looks like they're just going to give this one up. They're going to go for the jungle, try to keep him down just a bit, but Cog holds on. That was a really, really good taunt by Athena. Yeah,
the taunt keeps the front line from being able to pile in on that Sylvanas ultimate. Only the Raw Snipe coming through, and that really swings it for Cognitive. They buy themselves, 3 or 4 minutes here.
Yep. And now Sylvanas, only thing he can really do is either decide to finish out Blink or, oh, okay, so he's going to go into a Wing Blade. So he's got Adventure's Blade, which gives him 150 health and some CDR, but his next item will be the Wing Blade to deal with the slows.
Okay, makes sense. Going to get 6 slotted up on the Sylvanas. Pretty damn solid there, if you ask me.
Oh, God, yeah.
Almost impossible to take down, and now very difficult to lock down as well. Raw finishes up with a Void Stone, so adding to his tankiness on top of the Breastplate of Valor and bringing the aura as well to the table. Obviously, the Hunter's been 6-slotted for a while here on the side of Denial Esports. Back on the side of Cognitive, getting 6-slotted is your Vamana with the Brawler's Beatstick being his final itemization choice on top of that Height of the Urchin that he has. You can see the XP and gold starting to trend a little bit back towards Cog, but it's tough. Potentially too little too late here. They need to win a fight outright here to get back into this one. And while they may do it with Agni, who is merely finished up here, has a lot of damage on top of that Soul Reaver. So
the Soul Reaver is going to be the one. It does 15% of their maximum health in additional damage. So he's going to wait for that proc. Anyone who kind of gets in his face, he's going to look to get at least 2 people with that proc. And with an Agni Bomb, that's very, very doable. That could help kind of sway this team fight in favor of Cog. But really, they have to be careful.
Another try coming out for Denial Esports, once again with Madman Mark up, and they stun out Agni. Look at that crit, 651 damage coming out on the snipe just off the mark. Don't think it was enough. It would have been damn close, though.
That is just scary to deal with. So Xing jumps in. He's on the Phoenix. The heal's in the back. That's one dead Phoenix. Looking to kill another bird here in the mid lane. The taunt comes out. It's going to be on Madman Mark. Divine Judgment, but a crack. It does so much.
They dump everything into Madman Mark there, but Jigs gets blown up as he tries to hold that front line. The Vamana is here, but he's getting pushed out as well. The Titan's starting to take damage. Ooh. Uller still up and kicking and perfectly happy as Madman Mark. He takes, a big crit, 2 big crits, and Famous Hayden gets just erased right away. The angle was there. As I was saying, he's still alive. He is no longer alive, friends, as Famous Hate and Heroin are the final 2 remaining. Can Denial close this one out with the 4 members they have up? They're going to make their way into the Titan. Titan starting to fall, down to 30%, 20%, 10%, and yes, they will! Denial Esports goes on to face Complexity in the finals. Cognitive Gaming is going to drop down into the 3rd, 4th matchup against the other side of the bracket, where it is Team Nomad.
Yep. Cog Gaming that entire time, it was like, early game, we're not going to take any chances, we're going to play really safe. And then as it went on, they were just a little bit behind because they lost those fights. But really, Denial did a fantastic job from the beginning until the end. There was never a time where I was like, Denial, what was that play? They really look good.
Cognitive on the up and up, though. A team that didn't really have much of a showing last year in the Challengers Cup in comparison to 5 Angry Men. Now Denial that had a basically full year of play. Before that, about 2 years of competitive experience on the core of this team. And all things told, a much more tenured competitive organization, these 5 players for Denial going into Cog, who kept this one competitive for a long time.
Yep. So I wanted to bring this up for the sake of damage, because everyone likes this. Madman Mark did 38,000 damage for his team. The next highest was 27,000 on Xing. So both mages didn't really bring that a whole bunch to it, and actually Poseidon ended up doing more, even though he had 0 kills.
Well, there wasn't a lot of team fighting, right?
Yeah.
So it was a lot of skirmishes, but the mages really shine in those big team fights where they can hit 4 or 5 members or plus of the team and start racking up those damage numbers. But taking a look here at the brackets, you can see that it was indeed Nomad that does fall to Complexity, and they go on to face Cognitive here. That'll be the next matchup coming your way, and then to round out the day, it's a best of 3 of Complexity and Denial Esports in the finals. Any early predictions here? Who do you think's winning this 3rd, 4th matchup, Nomad or Cog?
You know, we've seen them both already today. I'm going to go with Cog Gaming.
Yeah, they look very strong.
Yeah, they look very, very strong.
Nomad, can Jerby and Sasek and the boys make it happen? Question is kind of, to me, maybe comes down to the soul lane. How is Sasek versus the Meerkat matchup going to go?
For sure.
Could very well be the barometer for how that game is.
Yep, agreed. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that 3rd, 4th match will be coming up right after this 10-minute break.